What's up, guys? So now we're getting into Deviance and Crime, the good stuff. John Hagen. Everybody's gonna know what John Hagen is. All right. So right off the hop, Deviance and Crime, right? So when you think of deviance, you think of harm, you think of norms, and you think of society's reactions. All three of those contribute to the John Hagen theory. Okay. So remember, harms, norms, and society's reactions is the John Hagen theory. Okay. So deviance is, everybody knows what deviance is. I mean, if I was to wear my hat like this, I'm deviant, right? If I was to go put black makeup all over my face, I'm deviant. People with tattoos are sometimes labeled deviant. People, homosexuals are labeled as deviant. If I just went to school in my boxers, I'd be labeled as deviant. So that's what deviance is. We all know that. So, alright. So the John Hagen's typology is basically saying that it's you gotta look at things, right? So you gotta see the three things are the evaluation of harm is the first thing in the typology, the agreement about the norm, and the severity of societal response. So the evaluation of harm is saying, what does my sideways hat, how does it hurt society, right? Is it a crime? Am I hurting somebody? No. Is there agreement with norms? No, not maybe 1 in 10, who cares? Does society have a response? Sure, they say, hey, he looks like a fucking idiot, right? But I think the best example of this would be what you call goths, or well, the best one would be the two Columbine kids who were emos at their school and did get picked on a lot, and what they did was wrong. So the evaluation of harm, they harmed a lot of people. They killed like 25 people and they hurt a bunch of other ones. Is it normal? Is there agreement among us norms? Hell no. We do not agree about shooting up a school. What's the society's response? Holy fuck, I don't even think you can bring nail clippers to a public school anymore. Like, that's how bad it is in the States. So remember the John Hagen theory. If you think about Columbine, right, you have the elevation of harm, agreement about the norm, and severity of societal response, right? And each of them has a benchmark. So, I mean, those two kids, they put a pretty high up one for the ones that were coming up, and then right after that, there was the Virginia Tech ones, and he upped the ante, and then they kept going and going and going. And then this year in Norway, one guy shot up a camp. He shot like 50 people. So, I mean, it's just wrong. So, when you evaluate the harm, right? So the evaluation of harm has 3 levels. It has very harmful, somewhat harmful, and fairly harmless. So, something that maybe would be very harmful is murder, rape. That's about it. Somewhat harmful is like theft, speeding, something that has a little bit of risk but not very high. You know, it's kind of up there. And fairly harmless is parking. I mean, you might park on the side of the road, and then an ambulance might come going, and then they hit your car. You know, it's not. You know, it's wrong, but it's not hard. Like, it's harmless. Like, harmless, right? Okay, so we move on to the agreements with the norms, right? So with the agreements with the norms, it's kind of what society you're in. Like, I know a lot of people at Sailors, if they see one of the Asian girls that wear the big dresses, the big shiny dresses, everybody would stare at her because it's not something we'd see every day, right? It's not, we don't agree, but we don't disagree, right? So the 3 levels of the agreements about norms is there's high agreement, high disagreement, and confusion or empathy. So high agreement would be if I went and shot your mother, right? If I went and shot your mother, that'd be, everybody would know that I agreed that, you know, it's wrong that I killed your mother, right? I'm not going to, Gibby, calm down. High disagreement would be something like abortion, where, you know, there's a lot of sides to it, but I mean, like, there's a very high disagreement about it. Some people like it, some people don't like it, some people think it's wrong, some people think it's right. You know, it's just one of those things that are on the edge. Confusion or empathy is like piracy. So I download songs all the time, and so does everybody else. And apparently, it's against the law. And all if everyone was so scared about downloading stuff, they would make a bigger law about it. Like, they'd put a bigger punishment for it, so people wouldn't do it, right? So now we're gonna move on to severity of societal response. You know what I mean? So society will respond in 3 different ways. You have severe, moderate, and mild. Okay? Now, your severe one is prison. Prison is a society response. That's how society has learned to respond to crime, because so what, we're just gonna say, oh, I'm gonna write you a letter, right? No, we're gonna put you in jail and you're gonna sit and be bored for a couple of years, right? Moderate is community sanctions. Like, you have to go and do community service. You do something good for society itself. Mild would be a fine. Like, I might not have a lot of money, so it might affect me more. But people who have a lot of money, money is money, right? Prison will be your life. Do you know what I mean? So you have severe, moderate, and mild. All right. So now, the type of crime and deviance, we have a lot of consensus crimes, which consensus crimes are which everybody agrees on. Okay, you know what? I'm going to hold that. I'm going to start the new video for it because this one's already like 7:23. So, I'll be back.